All right. Um, Three notes to self that I've put a lot of thought into over the past 4 to 6 months. One, care less about how other people live their lives. Two, let go of things. And three, the word lost has a negative connotation that it doesn't deserve. Um, the first one, care less about how other people live their lives. For probably 6 to 8 months, I spent a lot of time looking for advice, networking my way through all of these entrepreneurs, and they're worth 9 figures. Some of them were worth 10 figures. Like I was talking to a couple people who were like billionaire CEOs and whatever, and I think that I mistook asking for advice and talking to these people as actual progress towards the goal that I have in mind. And so I spent so much time asking these people for advice on like, what do I do? Like, how do you make money? Because that's the thing now. Everyone just cares about making money, and for some reason that's what I cared about for so long, was just how do I make money? And they all kind of gave the same advice. And the thing about that advice is that the more that I heard it over and over, the more that I realized that a lot of these guys don't actually even really know what they're doing. And that, yes, like, to some degree it's valuable to ask people for advice because a billionaire is going to know where to invest your money and what are trends that you can look for in business and that kind of shit. And so, yeah, it's useful. But when they were starting out, 99% of these guys had no idea what they were doing, and they kind of just threw shit at the wall until something stuck. And I don't know where this culture of looking for advice has come from, or if it's something that I'm just stuck in and that no one else can relate to. I hope it's not that, because then this video is kind of useless. But asking for advice is useful to some degree. Don't mistake it for learning through trial, learning through error, learning by failing, and just going out there and putting yourself out there. And don't look at these guys who tell you that there's a way to do something, because especially on the internet, I was so caught up in this world of how to do something, like that language specifically, like how do you become a billionaire? How do you make money? How do you do this? How do you do that? And fundamentally, when you say how to, it means that there's a proven method that if you do this, then no matter what, this outcome will occur. And I mean, that's great and all, fantastic if you can go out there and you can follow instructions on how to get the life that you want and whatever. But there's a quote that goes, if the path in front of you is clear, then it's someone else's. And I don't think I've ever been able to relate to that more in my life than now, because for so long I was stuck doing what other people were telling me I should be doing instead of what I knew I wanted to do and what I was good at. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm never going to do something that someone says I should do. I don't care if it's the smart thing to do. I don't care if it's the logical thing to do. If I have a gut feeling, if I have this innate desire in me, something that I know I should, that I know I should do that pertains specifically to me, then I'm going to do it, and fuck everyone else who tells me that there's a way to go about life, because there is no way to go about life. And this is inherently what's wrong with advice, is that people look for advice because they want an answer to something. Naturally, people are risk averse, right? No one wants to do the risky thing, and by asking for advice, we feel less risk because we're essentially answering the question of how to live life. But the answer to how to live life is that there isn't an answer to that. And that's the fundamentally scary part about existing, is that no one knows what the fuck is going on. And like I said, if the path in front of you is clear, then it's not yours. If the path in front of you is obscure, if it's full of trees and leaves and shit that you can't see, and maybe there even is no path, then it's yours, because then you're discovering, then you're lost, then you're finding, then you're doing things that are new, that are genuine to you, that are authentic, and that are going to give you an opportunity to create something that is unique that only you can do. Number two is to let go of things. I'm really bad at letting go of stuff. It's shown up in my life in relationships, it's shown up in my life in work, it's shown up in my life in school, it's shown up in my personal life, just the way that I treat myself. Fundamentally, how do I look at myself in the mirror? It's I hold grudges. I'm not easy on myself. I hold grudges about myself, on myself, when I've failed and I've done things wrong, and I look at myself and I reprimand myself. I give myself shit for doing poorly. And it's okay to be hard on yourself. It's okay to give yourself shit and to reflect, but you also have to let go of that, and you have to be able to give yourself a bit of empathy to move on and to grow. You can't actually grow from things if you don't let go of them. I've always had this belief that there's that saying that failure isn't failure, it's just a lesson. I disagree with that. I think failure is failure unless you take time to reflect on it. Then it's a lesson. If you fail a math test and you never go through the exam to see what you did wrong, then that's not a lesson. You just failed the math test and you ignored the lesson. But if you fail the math test and then go through the questions, right, and figure out what you did wrong in each question, then that's a lesson that you've learned. However, even if you do that, even if you take the time to reflect and learn the lesson, if you do not let go of the fact that you failed, if you do not accept the fact that, yes, I failed once, but I'm never going to do it again, then you are never going to excel. You're never going to grow past that failure. You're never going to become something more than you already were. This tree, right? I don't even know if you can see it. I have this massive tree in my backyard, right? And it's like 350 years old. So now imagine if that tree just spent all of its time putting roots in the ground and none of its time growing branches in the sky. Sure, it would have, like 100 roots, and that'd be great for the tree. It'd be able to soak up a lot of water, but the tree would also only be like 3 feet tall. Whereas now it's probably like, I don't know, 100 feet, 150 feet tall. Like, it's a big ass tree. That's the thing, is that you can spend all the time that you want learning lessons and reflecting on them and planting the seeds, but you need to let go of them and reach the sky in order to actually grow. Number 3, the word lost has a negative connotation of which it does not deserve. People think that if you're lost, it means that you made a mistake. That if you're lost, it means you turned somewhere wrong along the way. You made a choice that was the wrong choice to make. It means that you know what the meaning of loss is. I don't know why I'm defining loss to people, but what the word lost means to me is that being lost is when you find things that you have not yet found. If you're on a path that you've been down, you're going to find the same things that you've found every time that you've walked down that path. And if you want to live your life doing that, if you want to live your life walking by the same trees in the same forest, down the same path with the same flowers on the side, seeing the same birds and seeing the same animals as you walk down that path, to the same end of the path, knowing where the end of the path goes and knowing what's beyond that path, then fine, so be it. That's your life. That's the life you're going to live. You're going to live the life where everything around you is familiar and there's no risk. There's nothing different. There's nothing new. And to some people, that's safe. To some people, that's what they want. It's okay to have a life like that. But not for me. I don't want that kind of life. I don't want the kind of life where I'm walking down the path and I look to the left and I look to the right and I see things that I've seen 150 times. I want a life where I'm not even walking down a path. Where I'm charging through the forest and I've got a machete in my hands and I'm cutting through trees and leaves and grass and all of this shit, making my own way through it. And I'm discovering new things every 5 feet. That's really where discovery is. Discovery is in being lost. And again, going back to that same quote that I said before about where if the path in front of you is clear, then it's not your path. It's because it's a path that's been created by someone else, right? You're straying down the beaten path. You're going down a path that thousands of people before you have walked down. It's not your path. Your path is the path that goes through the grass, through the trees, finds new things, sees things that you haven't seen before, and that is up to you in order to create. And so I think that being lost is the only way to find something that you don't already know exists. If you want to grow, if you want to change, if you want to be a better person than you are today, you need to go somewhere, do something, and be someone who you haven't been, that you haven't done, where you haven't gone. And you need to create a bit of chaos in your life. You need to culture shock yourself. You need to burst your own bubble. You need to show yourself that there's things out there that you couldn't possibly have ever comprehended being stuck within the 4 walls that you've grown up in, within the bubble that the people around you have created. And I'm not saying that you need to fucking people who are like, I'm going to travel to find myself. Like, shut up. Where are you going to find yourself? In a stranger's bed? Like, that's ridiculous, right? Like, you should know yourself, but you should challenge your perspective and you should put yourself in a situation to learn and grow. None of this bullshit of sitting around and knowing the same thing. It's great to have comfort and it's lovely to have people who you love in a place that you find that you consider home. But, it's that bullshit that, what is it? Boats look great in a harbor, but that's not what they're meant for? Something like that. I don't know. I need to live my life according to how I want to live it, not how other people are telling me I should. I need to let go of who I was and the life that I led, and I need to get myself lost in order to discover. Peace and love, brother.